Hello, and welcome to Precon Decon, the video series where I deconstruct the pre-constructed decks of Magic the Gathering's history. In this video, we're going to continue looking at M12, and we're going to move on, look at Entangling Webs, which is a green-red deck. We always like a green-red deck here on this channel. We always like a straightforward green-red aggro. Let's dive in, start looking at it. We got 20 creatures, 5 instants, 5 sorceries, 3 enchantments, 2 artifacts, 25 land, mana curve off to the side there. Let's start looking at these creatures. A very minor theme, as in like it is just this screen only, is Spider Tribal, weirdly, in this deck, because the foil face rare is Arachnus Spinner, so 5 and a green for 5/7 with reach. You tap an untapped spider you control, search your graveyard and/or library for a card named Arachnus Web, and put it onto the battlefield attached to target creature. If you search your library this way, shuffle it. So Arachnus Web, we'll look at it later, is basically like a green pacifism effect, and it has like it has another sort of condition to it. I say we'll see when we get to it. But yeah, this is a super weird choice. I like it because it does make the deck sort of stand out a bit and just be like, oh yeah, the green red M12 deck, that was the one with the spider, right? Yeah, and there's like a good number of spiders. I say a good number of spiders in the set. It's just these extra 2 ones here. But yeah, I really like Arachnus. I think it's like a really kind of fun, weird design, and I think it's like really appropriate for a core set because it does this very evocative thing of a spider spins a web, right? And it's great. This has since been bumped down to uncommon, which I feel like is right for it because Arachnus Web. I mean, I know it shooters up Arachnus Web, but like it's not an effect worth being rare. But it's still a big creature. It's still like a 5/7 with reach. A good start, I think, to the deck. It's just so weird that they decided for this precon to be like, you know what? Let's focus on this minor spider tribal theme. So we have 2 Stinger Fling spiders, so 4 and a green for a 2/5 with reach. When it ends the battlefield, you may destroy target creature with flying. So this is really nice, I think. Not only being fairly beefy, but also having like a free like plummet effect when it comes in, I think is pretty good. It makes Giant Spider by comparison look not as impressive, but it's uncommon and it's a little bit more expensive. I think this is another sort of good card to include. Obviously, combos with Arachnus Spinner because you can tap it and get the Arachnus Web. And then 3 Giant Spiders, classic Giant Spider, 3 and a green for a 2/4 with reach. Yep. Bunch of spiders in the deck. So if you're an arachnophobe, I'm really, really sorry about that. But right, we're moving on. That was all the spiders. And so now we're just normal red-green beats now. So we have a single Garruk's Horde, so 5 and 2 green for a 7/7 with trample. You play with the top card of your library revealed, and you can cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. So this is just like a generically like just really strong effect. It's just a 7/7 trample for 7, which is fine, and it's essentially giving you kind of like draw not quite draw a card, extra card in your hand essentially. This is pretty good, and obviously you got like a lot of creatures in the deck, so you could just quite happily cycle through the top card of your library each time. I think this is just like again like a fine sort of core set rare. I think it's got like a fun effect. I think it's just pretty good. 2 acidic slimes, 3 and 2 green for a 2/2 with death touch. When it enters battlefield, destroy an artifact, enchantment, or land. It's nice that this ability kind of always has a target, even if there's not an artifact or enchantment, you can at least eat a land, and then it sticks around as a 2/2 with death touch. Like, what's not to love about that? So yeah, pretty good, I think. 2 Stampeding Rhinos, just 5 mana for a 4/4 with trample. Yep, perfectly fine. Big, stompy green creature. Single Garruk's Companion, 2 green mana for a 3/2 with trample. Yep, also pretty good, I think. Just being 2 green for this stat line, I think is really solid. Single Rune Clawbear, which is a little disappointing. This could have just been another Garruk's Companion, couldn't it? Really. Always disappointing to see Rune Clawbear because it's just could have been better, I suppose. But I think it does stick around for a few more core sets, unfortunately. But it's got to be there, I suppose, to show new players that like, look, this is a card you could easily cut and use that new booster pack that came in the box to make a change maybe. Also have a Vastwood Gorger, so 5 and a green just for a 5/6. Just again, just big stompy creature. And then to help power out the big stompy creatures, we've got 3 land or elves, which is really nice actually to have 3 of these. Just 1 green, 1/1, taps to add green. Yep, really solid to help ramp up. So we have 2 Crimson Mages. So in the last video I mentioned that all these like Green Lantern Mages, that I think 4 of them are pretty good, and then the red one I don't like at all. So 1 and a red for 2/1. 1 red, target creature you control gets hastened end turn. So I suppose at the very least, it's a 2/1 for 2 with no drawbacks. Its ability is cheap. Like giving haste is like useful. But I've said it a few times before in the past, like if you've been watching these videos a long time, haste is like an ability that only matters, for 1 turn. It's not, say, like, first strike or vigilance or flying, which can be useful at multiple points in the game. It literally only matters the turn you play something. But yeah, that's why I'm not so fond of it. I actually kind of wish the Crimson Mage had like a burn ability, like maybe just I know a certain amount of mana to do 1 damage to a creature or player, something like that. But giving haste is still good, but I've just got a hang up about granting haste. We have a single lightning elemental, 3 in a red for a 4/1 with haste. Yep, perfectly fine. So here we go, 3, the Arachnus Webs. So 2 and a green. It's an aura that goes on a creature. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. So it's actually closer to arrest, thinking about it. But at the beginning of the end step, if an enchanted creature's power is 4 or greater, you destroy Arachnus Web because it like bursts out of the webs because it's so beefy, can't be contained in the webs. So it is worse than arrest, which is fine because this is an effect green doesn't get. This kind of pacifism effect. So it's I think it's okay for it to have like that drawback. So it doesn't like bleed too much over into white. The fact this can be searched up actually by the Arachnus Spinner is good. It can come out of the graveyard as well, so you can just keep going. And it is at the beginning of the end step. So even if you put this on a big creature, you can at least lock it out of like blocking or attacking for like a turn, I suppose. So I suppose and there's 3 of them, so yeah, I guess it's fine. 2 Hunter's Insight. So 2 and a green instant. Choose type creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw that many cards. This can be potentially quite bonkers. If this say like you got Garrick's Horde and you swing with this, and I know you do. I know. Because what 2 and a green. So if you draw 2 cards of this, it's divination, but but better because it's at instant speed. So the fact is an instant speed is if this was sorcery, it needed a bit of setup, then you'd be a bit more wary of it. But the fact that this can be done at instant speed, I think, is really good. You could potentially draw like a lot of cards of this. You draw 2 or more cards of this, it's fine. 2 cards off it is fine. More than 2 cards is really, really good for 3 mana. So yeah, really glad there's 2 of these in the set. I think it's a good card. 3 Rampant Growth again ramps up into playing your fat creatures. So yeah, this is really good. So between 3 Rampant Growths and 3 Llanowar Elves, like this is, there's a high mana curve on this deck, but I think you're pretty confident in casting stuff. Single Titanic Growth. So I think this is new in M12 because I think we've had Giant Growth before. So I think Titanic Growth is new. So 1 in the green just gives +4/+4 to end turn. So slightly more expensive than Giant Growth for a slightly bigger effect. So yeah, it's fine. Single Overrun, got to have Overrun in a red-green aggro deck. 2 and 3 green sorcery gives all your creatures +3/+3 and trample end turn. Again, usually like a game-ending spell because just makes all your creatures super buff. Really good, really like Overrun. And just in case you're not going to win with combat damage, you've got Fireball. So you've got like quite a lot of ramp in here, so you could do just a big X burn onto your opponent, and it's fine. Single Fling, so 1 in red, you sacrifice a creature, and it does damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to a creature or player. This is, again, you've got like loads of big creatures in here, so again, you just sacrifice one of them, throw them, do a bunch of damage that way to, maybe finish off an opponent or get, an annoying blocker out of the way. Yeah, really good. Single Slaughter Cry, 2 in a red, gives a creature +3/+0 on first strike turn, so pretty good trick, I think. There's not much that can sort of block and stand up to suddenly an extra +3 power and first strike. So yeah, I think that's good. And then 2 greatswords. So 3 mana for equipment. Equipped creatures +3/+0 and equip 3. This I think is expensive. It makes sense because it's like core set equipment. And like we're way past the days of Bone Splitter, like really efficient equipment, like from Mirrodin days. This is okay. There was, I think it was a mirrored pair because there was this and I think Kite Shield, which gives +0/+3. But Kite Shield actually has some combo potential because it costs 0 to play, I think. Whereas this is just kind of expensive. But yeah, it's still +3/+0 end of day, isn't it? And then 18 forests and 7 mountains. So yeah. So what could have been? Over, I think again like the card selection here is pretty good. Like kind of like all the M12 decks, honestly. The Arachna Spinner, like the Spider Tribal sort of minor sub theme is so weird to me. But like yeah, it's fine, I suppose. And the other areas, oh god, I forgot what the other areas. Garrick's Horde, yeah, that's okay as well. I guess these could have all been potential alternate rares instead of the Arachna Spinner. I was thinking Druidic Satchel. So it's 3 mana, you pay 2 and tap. You reveal the top card of your library. Basically, you always get something out of it, right? So you either get a 1/1 Saproling, or you put a land straight onto the battlefield, or you gain 2 life. So you always kind of get something. But I don't know, maybe it's not as exciting for like a core set rare. Rites of Flourishing is an enchantment that lets everyone draw extra cards and play extra lands during their turn, which benefits you because you can ramp up into stuff quicker. Doubling Chant I thought could be a possible as well, so it's a really expensive sorcery. For each creature you control, you search your library for a creature card that has the same name as that creature, and put them straight onto the battlefield. So this would have required the deck to be restructured a little bit, so there's kind of at least 2 of each type of creature, just so you don't like whiff on it. But I thought this could have been fun, something like double up what you've got on the battlefield, like really thin the deck. I thought that could have been a potential maybe, but I think it's fine as it is with the Arachna Spinner and the Garrick's Horde. These are just just what I thought. And there's other obviously green-red spells that could have gone in here, but I honestly think the deck's using kind of the best of what M12 had to offer anyway. So in summary, I think this one is like perfectly functional. It's fairly straightforward red-green aggro deck. It just stands out, I say, a little bit because it's got the spider sub theme, which is honestly like really refreshing and it just makes it stand out, makes it a bit more interesting, I think. So overall, I think pretty good as far as red-green aggro decks go. What are your thoughts on the deck after seeing? If you got any thoughts, comments, stories, opinions, that kind of thing, stick a comment below. I'll give them a read. Always like doing that. But I'll be back next time. I'm going to look at another M12 core set intro pack. But until then, thanks for watching and listening. Have a great day.